Hello, everybody. How are you guys today?
Hi everyone.
Did he
Hello,
really?
everyone.
Okay, what are we going to talk about today, guys?
Today we are going to discuss Poland. I
Okay.
actually have a couple questions for Mom.
Okay.
Mom, I hear a lot of times when you're talking about Poland, you say village,
Village, which is the same way, like
a
it's a
small
town.
town.
Yeah, it's like the small town
Mm.
because the village is like the way that I consider, like right here. Let's say Chicago is the city.
Yes.
Anything around closer to the main city, big city, is a town. But like the way that we live now, farther, completely farther away, it's a village. It's just a small
So
village.
the closer it is, the bigger the name. The village is like further away, and those are like the people that don't have like 50 shopping malls and whatnot.
Right, right. That they just have like a like grocery store or something, just little, like very little, limited.
Yeah. Okay. Oh.
I wanted to clarify that because you said my village, and I'm like, okay, well, does she mean town or does
Well,
she mean?
you can say town or village. It's like I said, it's kind of the same. It's just we didn't have like we had to wait for like grocery, like it was like a grocery store was actually out of someone's home.
Oh.
Like
Oh,
it was like, like if someone had a like an extra room, like a big enough room that it would be able to bring the supply, then they would bring like the supply that we didn't make our own. So they would bring like sugar, like stuff like
yeah.
canned foods and all other things like that we were not able to make it at home because we had our own milk, we made our own cheese, we had our own eggs, we had made our own
You
butter.
made cheese.
Yeah.
Huh.
Do you still know how to make cheese?
Yeah, I do, but actually in here it's kind of hard because all the milk is like pasteurized or whatever that is that they putting stuff. You have to have a fresh milk from a cow that it's not being fed any kind of things that they put in whatever.
So if I could get you fresh milk and freeze it and send it to you, you'd be able to like make cheese.
Which is not like a block cheese like the way you buy it at the store, but like the farmer's cheese or cottage cheese, like that.
Ah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the reason I ask is because I can always make a trip up to Minnesota and visit the Amish real quick, get the
Right. Which
unpasteurized
is
milk, and head over to your house.
yes, definitely. And we do have and here like actually not far from, not well, I cannot say not far from us, but it's like about 20 miles from us. There's a Amish community that they do. So like a lot of people travel actually in there and they actually buy milk, cheese, butter, eggs from them.
Hmm.
So, do you think one day you could get one of your kids to, video record you while you're making like cheese?
Well,
Or
if I would have stuff like proper stuff for it, I would, but
Dad?
because that's a little process about it.
Right.
Actually, my sister does make it at home, like
Mm.
like a farmer's cheese. She makes it because she actually travels to the Amish, community, and she buys the milk and everything else, and she does that.
Oh.
Does she make the butter too?
Yeah.
Now, Mom, like in your village, was there like a doctor in your village, or did you have to go to the city for that?
Well, we had, which is it's kind of hard to consider a doctor because they were not certified like school wise or anything, but they had like the home remedies that they actually knew what they were doing and talking. Like our village had a midwife that she delivered over almost over 200 children, and I was one of them.
Oh my god. So
Only from my family, only my sister, one sister, the one that is 2 years older than me, was born in a hospital because my mom was at work in the city. She worked at the like a resort because people come to the mountains and they stay in the resort. So she worked there. So she couldn't make it to the hospital because she went in labor right there at work because you don't have time. Sometimes these ladies they would go in the labor right in the field when they were picking up the crops.
oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my god. I couldn't even imagine. I mean,
No,
like,
nobody, everybody survived. We all here.
well, like when I had Austin, it was an emergency. And do they ever have any cases like that in Poland? Like,
Well,
or
they do have, but right now I actually feel like because I haven't been 32 years in
yeah,
there, so I'm not sure exactly what. But even my niece, I was 15 years old when my niece was born, and she actually was born on December 11th. Due to so much snow, we couldn't take my sister to the nearest town, to the city, to the doctor, to the hospital, to anything. And the doctor couldn't come in because, they have to travel. There was no buses. There is no proper streets, actually. Right now, I'm sure that they figured it out how to keep it nice, but then we didn't have it. So the snow was the actual issue. So when she was born, she was coming breech, and the midwife had to pull her out. So she kind of pulled her arm out of her socket. She wrapped her up. A month later, the baby was brand new, like never had nothing happen.
oh
She
my,
popped it back in.
oh wow,
Yeah.
okay, that's kind of
So,
go ahead, Kanye.
what are some of the okay, so you haven't been to Poland for a while, as you've said. But what coming to America, what are some of the differences between Poland and America?
Well, the number one difference is that I've actually noticed and I really, really felt lonely was the selfishness.
Right,
I get
Because
that.
honestly, like, I'm not trying to put down anybody and I'm not putting everyone in the same category because person is a person.
right,
But the majority that I've experienced, everybody's selfish and everybody hooray for me and screw you.
right,
And I didn't like that because in Poland, like, and actually like most European countries, everybody is so nice and helpful. Like, you walk on a street and everything else, you are a complete stranger you never met. Good morning, how are you? Every like very so nice. And
right.
here they like would
Not
to
much.
kill you with the look that they gave you.
Right.
Right.
Now, like I know that everybody was close knit there, but like, did anybody ever speak English, or was it all Polish?
When I was there, we all spoke Polish, and we had to, that was in schools, we had to learn Russian
Mm,
because at that time they had the ties with the Russia. So
right.
we had to learn Russian from fifth grade up.
Oh, so how close is Russian compared to Polish? I don't. I have no idea.
See, like, they call it like the old Slovakian language, which is kind of very similar. All these countries, they have like the dialogue and some of the words that you kind of can make it up. It might be pronounced differently or whatever, but you can make it up. So it's like Czechoslovakia, Yugoslavia, then Hungary, then Ukrainian, Russia. That's kind of based on the same kind of a thing that if you would listen, then you kind of can understand what what they saying, like the meanings would be a little bit different or the pronunciation would be different, and some things are called different than what we do, but yes, it's very similar.
Mm, okay. Wow.
So
Oh, go ahead.
my wondering is, what is, do you still have like your Polish dishes there?
Yes, I do. I actually wanted to show you guys. I have like a coffee set that my mom gave it to me when she brought it in here. And I have three actually, but I very value the one that my mom gave me and the one that I brought in when I came in. And I have crystals that like glasses, crystal glasses that I brought in from Poland. So I'm gonna kind of try to show. Just give me a second.
Okay. I think I would like to go over there.
I would love to go. I would love to go to the different countries and.
It's just no money.
Well, you got to think back in the old days, they didn't have money either. They have enough to get there
Yep.
barely, and then they worked odd jobs all the way through,
Right. Right.
which you would learn so much about the country working there.
Right.
I
And
mean,
you
nowadays you really can't do that. You can't just hop on a boat and go travel. I wish.
right. Right. And in the States, people wouldn't let, a stranger come in and there's a lot of people that are like really shady and they're worried about them doing whatever. Because I'm sure that over there, people were. The mom said they were nice to one another over there. Not here, though.
Right.
Okay. So this is a crystal vase for
Ooh, that
flowers.
is pretty.
Yeah, that one I brought in when I went back there. And this is one of the glasses that's like a set. There are six of these glasses, and there is like a kind of glass that you can pour alcohol in it to keep it on a table nice instead of in a bottle.
Mm.
And here is a creamer. You put creamer in this little dish, and it's got like a little design in here.
Mm.
And here you put a coffee. That's a design to that.
Or tea. You can put tea in them.
You can put tea in it. Yes, and this one too.
My grandma used to collect.
Turn that down.
Uh, my grandma used to collect them.
Yeah, so I have, and I also have like plates, dishes plates that, and my mom gave me. Like I really still use that like for Christmas and everything else because one of the dishes I really like, it's like a soup dish that you put on a table and it's got a cover, nice cover, and it's kind of the same kind of color like this, and it's got a design.
Mhm.
So that's what I still value.
So, Mom, do you ever think that you and Dad will go back to Poland?
Oh yes, I would love to go.
Well, Dad, there you go. That's where you
I
go to your third honeymoon or whatever.
Yes, I know. I would love to go. It's just I'm kind of like really kind of scared a little bit that I would have to be cleared through medically because of my blood clots that it happened for no reason out of nowhere. So I would have to be prepared because when I after actually I had the blood clots, then my doctor said that even if I travel by a car, like if I drive like more than 2 hours, that it's a somewhere to go, I would have to stop every 2 hours, get out of the car and walk so I can move my blood.
Right.
Yep.
Because yeah,
I'm kind of the same way. I have to stop every so many
right.
hours just to get out and start moving. Or
Yeah.
otherwise, by the time I get to where I'm going, my
Legs and everything you can move.
Work.
exactly. Well, that and my toes will start going numb because all of
Right.
the fluid just goes
Goes yes.
straight down to my ankles and they
Uh-huh.
get about this big and then like my feet are just swollen huge.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
I remember when she came here, they were like really bad.
Yeah,
Well,
because the plane travel time is like 14 hours to get there.
holy crap. Wow.
Well, because it's not necessarily like full 14 hours, but yes, it is kind of because of the change time for zone, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why.
So my question is, I know that on planes you can get up and move around and whatnot.
Right, which is that's what they said that if I would travel on a plane, that I would have to let them know that I have to get up like every hour to walk in the aisles back and forth for a couple minutes and sit down and then do it again. So I don't get
What
the
planes are very accommodating to people with disabilities.
right. But yes, we have been talking about it actually that I would like to go still, and I actually wanted to take the because the three older kids they were there, which is my daughter was 2 years old then, and now she's 34. So that's how long I've been
Wow.
ago there.
Wow. Okay.
But the rest of them haven't been there. So I would like to take since they older now, they would be able to see. I really would love to take them there.
I think they should have to pay for their own plane tickets though.
Well,
That
they
is
no,
going to be hella
they
bit
said they
expensive.
would. No, they said they would, and I told them I said I don't mind, buying them food in there or whatever because I still have family members, so I'm sure they would give us some dinner.
Right.
Oh, mom, I know they probably would.
So, do you miss being in Poland?
Well, I cannot exactly say to miss it because I didn't experience like I would say a life that I had to live for me, like support me because I was 17 years old when I got here.
Yeah.
So I didn't experience that kind of stuff. But yes, I do miss it more likely, like I've been saying, the people, the very hospitable people, like they are so friendly, they are so helpful that it's like so kind. Like you don't have to, like you feel it. Nobody can say nothing, but you feel that they are welcoming.
So,
So
Just
that
put
I
that out
miss.
there, guys.
so,
What's going on?
gotta interrupt the lady outlaws.
I was asked to do something. Just keep
Okay.
going on with what you're doing.
Okay. Mom, like I know you said that your mom worked in a resort, but like, did they have like different fast food chains and stuff over there, or was it? Did they like just have to make their own, their own food? Their own-
No, they like I said, now I'm sure that there is a lot more because even when I went back, when I went back there, when I went actually for my cousin's funeral, so I was there after I went with my kids. But when I went to my husband, my cousin's funeral, I actually didn't recognize my village because that's how many homes, that's how much stuff it's been built up and connected that when my cousin picked me up from the airport and I was like, okay, how long is this thing? How far we are from home? And he actually stopped in front of the house and he's like, you are home. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm home. I'm like, we didn't pass this, we didn't pass that. No, we didn't because there are so many homes now that you didn't even realize that we passed all that.
Oh, damn.
1 second. Froggy, you can
Yeah.
still add people up here, right?
No.
I don't think
It was not letting you add people.
no. I don't think she's ever been able to do that.
Yeah, she was able to.
I
One.
was able to, but now I can't.
I don't know why, because you're still on the team share.
I don't know.
Anyhow, before we
Well,
were
go
really
ahead and
interrupted.
go ahead and continue. When you hear something come over, like somebody joined,
Okay.
let me know.
Okay.
Okay.
Just say it on stream and then.
So,
Because I might be able to hear it anyways through the thing, but I'm not sure.
so now we talked a little bit about your growing up in Poland and, along with your faith. You talked about the gypsies that used to come and visit you.
Well, they would because they were travelers, so they would travel like from town to town, so they would pass through. And like I said, and we were kind of a connection to, let's say, from the city that is right underneath the feet of mountains, which is the closest city that I live to. And then there is another one that is like about 12 miles going out. So we were kind of like a connection to get to that city, to mountains, and then they had to get back, so they had to turn around and go. And so we were kind of like the main, like not to be on a main street that the cars and buses travel and anything, but like side roads. So they would travel by that.
Yeah. Are you thankful that you came to America, or would you rather have stayed in Poland? I mean, I don't. Besides the
Bless
fact
you.
of family and everything, but
Thank you.
I mean, like,
No, I am thankful that I came in here, because but actually like sometimes I ask myself, like, if I would stay there, like if we would still stay there, like me and my sisters, what could have been we doing, or how our lives would have been. I just like wonder. But I'm grateful. I actually, adapted very well and everything else, because sometimes you just have to make the best of it where you have,
Right.
well,
not thinking what could.
yeah.
So
When you were telling that story about the card reading from that gypsy, you're like, you don't know me. How do you know? What? I'm only like, but how old did you say you were? 10,
yeah,
12, something.
10 years old. Yeah.
I thought
Yeah, I was shocked myself. Like I said, me and my cousin, we actually, when I went back there, we actually were talking about it, and like we were like, how does this gypsy knew what our lives would be? You know?
Because
I
it was laid out for you.
yeah,
Right.
pretty interesting. And I can't
Yeah.
wait to go there so you can do my card reading. So I'm excited for that. Oh, and I'm also excited for that. What was that? Yankee? What'd you call it? I don't even know. To me, it reminded me of a burrito just wrapped in cabbage. But I thought, oh God, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Now, when you make that, what is it? Lonky?
Gołąbki.
Gawanki?
Yes, gołąbki.
Okay. What what do you put on top of that? Did you just
Well, you
cabbage or
yes, you cook the cabbage, like the cabbage head, you cook it pretty well so it's like the leaves are soft. Then you peel the leaves one at a time, on the side. And then you make you get ground beef. You don't cook the ground beef. You just like, season it, mix it and everything else. And then you cook rice. So you mix all that together.
mm,
And when you mix that all together, then you just grab a spoon and then full spoon of the mixture, you put it in the leaf and then you wrap it and then you put it together. So, like in a pan or a pot, and then you cook it like for 45 minutes and that's it.
okay, see guys,
What do you cook it in? Oil, butter, water.
No, just I usually put it in a pot and I cook it on top of the stove. You can cook it in the oven, but I really don't go for that. It's not as good, because when you cook it in a pot on the top of the stove, you put like 2 cups of water only, because the cabbage is natural water. So when it cooks, it gives the water out. So then it's kind of more of like a steaming, like you steam cooking.
right.
So you don't add on. Some people, which is like my sister, because I don't like much food and I cannot eat stuff, certain things, like especially grease, because of my digestive system bad. But she wraps it also in a bacon. And it
Mm,
is good, it's really good. It's like, it depends how people like it.
kind of
But
like
she does that, yeah. So she does that, so that like everybody has a little difference. And then also you make your like a sauce to pour it on. Either you can make it tomato sauce or mushroom sauce, instead of, like, some people don't like mushrooms, so then the tomatoes.
yeah.
Right.
Well,
See, that actually sounds really good.
yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah, if you guys ever come, then
Um,
I'll make it.
Well, see, now I would have to substitute the rice with corn though, because Chris don't like rice.
He would not even taste it.
No, he would taste it for you, mom, because we were down here and this one person made a Mexican dinner and they had beans and rice and all that, and he's like, well, normally I don't eat beans and rice, but I will try it, for you. So
Okay. Well,
see,
because it's not a lot of rice. It's just like to mix it. So it's like, like it's together.
Right,
So
right.
it's
Well,
more of a like a meat
when
thing.
he was little, his brothers told him that he was eating maggots. So
Oh my
And that's why I don't eat rice is because my dad told me that shit.
Well, there's a lot of things that, like you say to people and everything else that sometimes the kids actually like whatever, so to make fun of. But you have to sometimes overcome that, which is if you try it with a different food or something,
yeah,
then you're not thinking of it that you're eating that because it is mixed with something else.
right. Well, see, I didn't care for rice when I was little, but now I can eat the shit out of it. I love rice. I love it.
Yeah.
I still won't eat rice.
And also, I wanted to say, see, guys, mom doesn't really put shit in her guanky thing. Okay? Yeah, I just want to clarify that. Dad says, see, she put shit in there.
So it's
No, because I told them I try to like, when I make it and everything else, and I try to make one that I cook it, and then I tell them, can you please try it? Because since I cannot smell nothing now, I cannot taste since the COVID. Now it's been officially 3 years since I had COVID.
of no smelling or tasting.
Nothing.
That could be a lot of your food issues because people
No,
who
they said
don't,
that it's like that they said that it's a
yeah,
long COVID something, whatever.
no, no, no. When you can't smell or taste your food, you don't want food
Yeah,
because it's bland. You're literally eating nothing.
right.
Right. No,
You
but
could have
I
the
was
best tasting food in the whole entire world in front of
right.
your face, and it's
And I
gonna
don't know
be
what
like
it tastes like. Yeah.
exactly. You could go get $100 cheeseburger and $1 cheeseburger, and they're gonna taste the exact
Hmm.
same.
Which
Uh,
is that's why when I cook, then I try to, like from what I learned, and then on top of it, my kids laugh at me because they like, you didn't measure it. How much do you put stuff in there? I said, yes, I did. And they're like, how did you do it? I'm like, well, I looked at it. So they laughing at me that my measurements is my eyes.
Right. My mother-in-law does the same
My
thing.
mom and my sister are the same exact way, and I'm like, no, I need exact measurements because I'm an idiot.
Yeah. So no, then they try to mimic, especially Kyle and David. They usually cook, and they're like, "Mom, how much you put this? How much flour do you put this in there? How much flour do you do this? How much milk do you put that?" I'm like, "Well, I haven't counted. I just know how much is it in a bowl when I put it, so put it there." He's like, "Then how am I gonna know?" I'm like, "I don't know."
My mother-in-law makes the best peanut butter fudge, right? She does the same thing. She just puts a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Uh-huh.
And many people have tried to make it, and they're like, you know what? I made your fudge, but it didn't turn out the same.
Well,
Yeah.
Roy's sister is the same exact goddamn way. She's like, oh, well, you take a dish of this, and like, she can
Yes.
cook fucking Gordon Ramsay out of the kitchen, okay? This is why it's hard for me to lose weight. They don't eat leftovers. We
Okay.
eat leftovers. So every weekend she has four full course meals because, her baby brother's finally back home and is able to eat her cooking. So every weekend they just stuff her fridge full of leftovers. And at the end of the weekend, all of those leftovers get brought over here.
Well, none of my kids eat leftovers. Nobody eats leftovers here.
Really? Oh my
I
god.
finally had to tell her, you know what, cook
No,
chicken on the weekend so that way I can stay on my diet.
no. I told them, I said, I'm not going to cook no anymore because every time I cook, then they barely eat anything. And then when I put it in the fridge, then so for tomorrow or even later on, oh, that is leftovers. Well, beggars can't be choosers, dumbasses.
Well, guess what, Ma? We'll help you with that. We ain't leftovers. We're not scared.
Yeah, literally, we eat leftovers in this household too.
Yeah.
My son will be like, there's about half a pot left. My
Yeah.
son will come in. I'm hungry. Okay, there's leftovers. Reheat them up. Go
Okay.
out there. There ain't even the pot is literally licked clean. It's like
Like, there's no chance for leftovers here. Like, we made 2 boxes of macaroni and cheese last night. Chris had his, I had 2 scoops, and Cody had the rest. And I'm like, can I have some more? And Chris like, no, because Cody licked off the spoon. It's gone. There's no choice. It's like, okay, fine.
Yeah.
I deal with the same crap all the time though with my son. But now we've got it to the point where does your mom want more?
Oh, that's
I don't
good.
know. I'll go ask her. Mom, do you want more? Yeah, I'm starving. I haven't ate all day. Fine.
Yeah, that's what it is. Sometimes I have to tell them like, just leave something for your father because he's gonna be looking for it. And they're like, really? I'm like, yeah.
They're
I
like,
know they
oh
give that more
man.
than just that one recipe. I know there's a lot of Polish dishes. My aunt, or not my aunt, my cousin, my mom's cousin, she used to make this thing where they would take like baked beans or whatever and put it with sauerkraut, and you would think that that was like some of the nastiest shit around, But oh my god, I was like, this is good.
No, there is a lot of dishes, and actually, like where we are from, like the south of Poland by the mountains,
Mhm.
and a lot of our dishes are kind of even the similar with German dishes.
Ah,
So because like the culture, like usually the people that they live closer to the border of Russia, they have picked up stuff from them, like more of dishes. Then
Yeah.
the other one from that side, that side. So it's kind of like all over.
right.
Yeah.
So
So
what?
are you saying everybody meets in the middle and has a great cook off?
Basically, that's what it is. Everybody puts this and this and this together, and everybody's happy.
So
Now,
like,
how did you celebrate holidays in Poland?
yeah.
Well, we celebrate Easter and we celebrate Christmas. We don't celebrate Thanksgiving.
Mm.
But we also don't celebrate birthdays, but we celebrate names days.
What are those?
Yeah.
That day, you the way you are named, then we celebrate the feast of the saint that you were named after.
Oh.
Is that why all of the kids have a saint's name?
Well, it's pretty much not necessarily all of them, but most people try to, because like I said, now
Oh,
for
see,
all these years it kind of went away from that stuff and everything else, so people are naming kids like, like even an American names and everything else. But usually the kind of like when you grow up in a strict, very strict religion, then that is preferred that you should follow that. So it's
now
like,
was your religion Catholic when you were in Poland, or
yes, Catholic.
okay? I didn't
Hmm.
know if
And
you.
that's where mom and dad get along so well is they're
Right.
both Catholics, except for they have a little bit of differences in both of their religions.
Well,
I
because how they were, like how they modified things in here, that's why I told them, I said, well, I'm gonna follow what I grew up with and everything else. It doesn't mean that I'm better than anybody. It's just, it's for me, it's kind of feels that it's kind of like when you actually should respect something, which is it should be respected religion because that you believe in something, then
right.
it shouldn't be changed. Because like how would you like it if you're gonna, like, let's say your name, you're gonna be called this in this area, but then you're gonna go in there, they're gonna call you this because, oh, we like it that way better. No, that doesn't make sense.
Right.
One thing should be followed, the same thing, you know.
Exactly.
Okay.
Well, that that kind of falls down into the archangels, which we do have to have a discussion on one of these weekends or
Right.
weekdays.
Yes.
with the archangels,
Mhm.
since you name your kids after the saints, do you include the archangels in those saints?
Well, I actually like Michael. He is the oldest one, and he was born in September. So the feast of Archangel Michael,
Mhm.
it's on September 29th, which is Michael, Gabriel, and Raphael. That's the three archangels
Oh,
are the feast on the September 29th.
okay.
So then David was born in June, and then the feast of David is in July. So it's like closer. Like usually it's you should pick your names closer to the saint feast. And like my mom always said, don't go and looking for a name before the baby was like, before the month of the baby's birth, because then they forget things and everything else. There's all kind of rituals in that. So you
Okay.
should
I
always go ahead of it. Like.
Yeah, I would love to hear. I would love to hear those rituals.
Which is like they didn't like that I named Kyle because Kyle it is a saint, but it's an Irish saint. It's an Irish bishop that was they became saint.
Oh,
So
okay.
Kyle's name is Irish name, but it's still saint.
I
It's a saint, but it's an Irish saint and not a
Yes, not
Catholic
yeah.
saint.
Hmm.
I asked Dad. I was like, Dad, I just realized something. He's like, what? And I said, you named your kids after the Bible, didn't you? And he's like, yes.
Yes, Stephen, Matthew.
Yep. Yep.
So
Tanya, Amber.
Amber,
Well,
because Amber is a girl, so Saint Ambrose.
Yep.
Yeah.
I knew what you were talking about.
Yeah,
So,
so it's like that's why I said like we try to follow kind of in our religion footsteps.
mhm.
But again, you have to also kind of think about it. That, yeah, these kids have to grow up with someone that they're gonna have their names to be made fun of or something or questioned or whatever.
Well,
Yeah.
it'd be kind of weird to have a daughter named Ambrose. So,
Right. No, no, it is because see, there is a like Saint Augustine. So they do like Polish people. They do name the girl like Augustine, but they call it in a short name, like like a nickname they give. They also call like the Ambrose Amber. So they do like on their birth certificate is actually like a full name, but we didn't do that. Amber's got only Amber.
mhm, yeah. Well, I like that name for Ambrose.
So.
That was
Mhm.
that was a good change. Like,
Yeah, but that's why like there is a lot of traditions which is involved. Like when we were in Poland, we kind of followed more of the Catholic Church calendar, like of observations and the holidays and everything else than regular like state.
yeah. No, I know your name was Jadwiga in Polish.
Yes, and I was named after a queen of Poland.
Okay. Now, are they all those kinds of names, or are they, are there some American names over there?
There is like now I actually more because see like my name is actually Saint Hedwig, which is German.
Mm.
So it's like the translation of it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I like.
So
I can pronounce that one. The other
yes,
one
yeah,
but
don't ask me to pronunciate anything because at this moment I can barely pronunciate my own name.
can't.
yeah. So like there is like when I grow up, then the most of them was named Mary, Helen, and then like Barbara, Catherine. So those kind of older names.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
now I'm sure that they have all kind of names, and I like I have seen heard that some of my family members and everything else, and they name their kids like modernized, like from even other countries, not only in American but other countries.
Right.
So okay,
Because
my grandma grew up in Germany.
Okay.
right? I don't know how far Germany and Poland are.
We border Germany.
You border Germany. Is Marion a saint?
Hmm.
The name Marion. Which
Yes.
saint is that?
Like when they say that when Jesus, like that, when Jesus was preaching in one of the, town squares and everything else, and then the Marian, that when he was kind of condemned to death and he was walking, she came in and she wiped his face with the cloth. That they said that, like the print imprinted on the cloth of Jesus's face, because like when she wiped his face.
Ah,
Yeah.
that's neat. So, like, do you still have friends and shit that live up there, or just is it just your family?
No, I do have friends that they live there, and my cousins and my sister, the one that she comes here. She actually has a like the like B&B business, like that she's got a breakfast bed,
Oh,
that she has in there. So she goes there for like 3 4 months, then she comes here for a month, then she goes back. So it's like going back and forth. And I also have my cousins from like distance cousins that they live there,
yeah.
and like friends and everything.
Well,
But
So when you go back to to visit Poland, you're not going to be like
alone. Yeah.
alone. You're going
no,
to have
no,
family there.
I still have like, yeah, like I still have my cousins in there, yeah, and their children.
Like, do you still keep in contact with that one that when you guys got your card reading from
Yeah, she's actually
here?
principal in our village in a school.
Oh, okay.
She
Oh, yeah,
is.
that's right. Okay,
Yeah.
that's right. Okay.
Which is that's why she was like, when I went back there, and after she had, like we were talking about it, and she's like, because that's what actually the gypsy told her, that you are going to be surrounded with many many children for rest of your life, which is in school,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So it's like, she's like, what is she talking about? And I'm like, well, you always wanted to be a teacher, so there you go.
Oh wow. That's so interesting.
Yeah, that's why, like, when we kind of like were talking about exchanging it, like remembering things, and we like, how does this person knew? Like, we were just kids. We were 10 years old, you know?
Yeah.
Now,
Well,
did they teach you any of their besides for like the card reading? I know that traveling gypsies did a lot of like palm reading and tea leaf reading
Yes,
and
yes, they do. But that one, it's kind of a little bit more difficult, that I couldn't understand actually, like,
yeah.
so I didn't get into it, because they do have it like the leaves, like, and everything else. And they, like, the way they even pour the coffee or tea, how it, like, on top of it, how the ring comes up or something, that it means stuff, So they did all of that, but I couldn't understand none of it. So
Right.
to me, it was a little bit more of an explanational, that I was able to see it, like the cards, that I was able to relate to it.
Mhm.
So
Now, how far was it that you went in school over in Poland?
how far did I have to go to school?
No, no. I mean, like in what grade level? I mean, do they do it by grade levels, or how do they do the education system over there?
Well, they right now, like the school system, like when we grow up, we, again, it was really kind of more of a strict of, like, respect and authorities, and learning things about, like, so you don't have to depend on nobody, which is, that's what we were always told. You have to know everything, because in case, like they always told us, you don't know what tomorrow brings. What about your family is gone? You have to survive. How are you going to survive? So when we were little kids, like, and here, that's what kind of like upsetted me when I started having kids and they went to school, that they didn't teach them nothing. Like, I felt that they didn't teach them nothing besides reading and counting and whatever. I could have done that at home.
Right.
Right.
But like even now, when I try to like, sometimes I looked on because they have a Facebook page of the school. So I kind of look at it sometimes and everything else. So they put like the information, like on news and this and that. So now apparently, before the kids go to kindergarten, because we didn't go to kindergarten. When I started, we didn't have kindergartens. We went straight to first grade. But now, apparently, when the kids go to kindergarten, they have to know at least 10 words in English to spell and meaning of it.
Oh,
So, and then they have also a choice of another language like German and French and any other, you know.
oh wow.
So they try to teach them. So they also have teachers already in school that they're trying to, you know, teach them since they little to introduce them to other languages.
And that's in Poland.
Yeah,
And the United States can't get their heads out of their ass to teach them anything. I mean, you do have to learn a different language by the time you graduate, or at least be in the class and pass it with the D.
right. At least you have to pass it, but that nobody's paying attention to actually put the effort to actually teach that
Right.
you can get out of it to be able to at least communicate.
Right.
But they threw they did coding. Yeah, they threw coding in a Spanish class was for people that had already been taking it for like 3 years.
All right.
I was
So,
like, damn.
and that's what I'm saying. Like, this is really hard. And like when we were growing up, we actually would go outside, like, you know, to the closest forest or whatever we had. They would make like a daily trip. Like the teacher took the kids and they taught, then they showed us actually what, how you can survive in the wild, what is good to eat, what is not, and how to pay attention to any other insects or whatever that is dangerous to you and everything else. They taught us when we were little.
Right.
And here, none of these kids know, not even, they don't even know what ant is. And then they start screaming, oh, there's a bug. Okay.
What kind of bug?
No,
Exactly. Like there's a lot of stuff that we did, like even when I was looking on the, like I said, on the page now that they teach, and I know that the basic is that you teach your children how to cross the street.
right.
But in
Right.
school, I know for a fact my all my 8 of the kids went from kindergarten to high school. None of them ever came home and said, "Look, we learned this at school today." Nothing. And I showed my daughter because she's a teacher, and I said, look, these are the 5-year-olds that the teacher had in the classroom, like a made up light, you know, and stop sign and a crosswalk.
Mhm.
And she was telling them, you know, okay, everybody's walking, like, you know, and the kids are talking, whatever, paying attention. Every one of them had to make sure that they follow the proper steps to learn how to cross the street and everything in a classroom. They didn't have to tell them, take them outside. But if you take the initiative to kind of teach them and talk to them, they're going to know. Then they have in the summertime, they have actually like a program that after the kids get out of the school, then they have it like for 2 3 weeks program that they teach them how to properly use their bicycle and how they can ride and what's the proper side of the street and everything. And they actually give them like a little driver's license for passing how to ride a bike.
See,
Wow.
that's awesome because not a lot of kids do that. Not a lot of teachers or parents do that nowadays.
Hmm.
You got kids running out in front of cars and they're like, well, you should have stopped. Well, I'm going 30 miles an hour. Your kid runs out in front of my car.
Yeah,
All you're going to hear is me screeching my fucking tires, blaring on that fucking horn.
yeah.
And if you come out here yelling at me, I'm gonna tell you why weren't you out here watching your kid? Why
Why
weren't
didn't you pay
you
attention?
paying attention to your kid?
Yes. Uh-huh.
I was paying attention to the road. I locked my brakes up, but if I wouldn't have been paying attention, bad things could have happened
Right.
because you didn't do your job as a parent.
Right, which is, that's what I'm saying, like, you know. And there is sometimes, you know, because again, and here it's very busy lives because everybody has to work. So
Right.
yeah, The parents don't might not have that much time to teach the child stuff. That's why the children are go to school. Okay, why don't you make one of these classes or something? You have a gym instead of these kids running around like dumbasses doing nothing. Why don't you split the gym class to teaching them something?
Right.
Well, see,
Oh,
and I look at it this way, okay? We send our dogs to go to obedience school,
Yes.
right? So they can
Hmm.
learn to be the perfect little doggies.
Right.
We send our children to school, so obedient schools, so they can be perfect little citizens in the United States and learn how to do what the government wants them to do.
right.
It's just so much stuff that I feel that could be completely different, because even for example, like they label kids. Like our four kids have ADHD and Lawrence has severe sensory disorder.
Mhm.
So he was kind of learning completely different than anybody else.
Right,
So again, they trying to only push him out. And when that got me angry, because in third grade, they said, oh, he might have to stay in a third grade because he's failing, because he's not participating, he's not doing this, he's not doing that. I'm like, okay, so what can we do? How can you help this kid? You are with him 8 hours. I'm with him maybe 3, 4 hours after I come home from work because he's got to go to sleep to be up in the morning on time.
right,
So, how can we help him? Oh, okay. Well, we have this that we can evaluate him. Maybe he can get some program that we have. Maybe they can help him and this and that. Okay, evaluate him. Then they call me for the meeting, and I went there, and they're like, okay, we did the evaluation on him, and he doesn't qualify for the special services. What are you talking about? I'm like, what are you talking about? You just said he's going to fail. How isn't he fail? How is he not qualifying? Oh, because his IQ don't allow him. He is smart, but he's just not doing this and so on one minute you're going to tell me that my kid is stupid. You're going to keep him in the third grade, but on the other hand, you're going to tell me that my kid is not getting help because he's too smart. So which one is it? Are you
it's a
stupid?
conundrum.
Yeah,
It's a conundrum. Seriously,
and
your
that's
kid
why.
either has to be really like Jordan, or your kid has to be Albert Einstein to get any
Right.
help.
Which
Mhm.
is that's what I'm saying. Like, and I walked out 3 times out of the freaking meeting. So I told them, I said, I will go above it. I don't care. I will find a way that none of you gonna here tell me how you're gonna handle my kid, because you're
Right.
gonna put his ass on the shelf and he's gonna, yeah, you're gonna push him out through all these years, and he's gonna get out and he's not gonna even know how to read because none of you want to pay attention to him.
Right.
Exactly, and
They
they
don't.
do
So,
push. They do push them forward.
Yeah,
oh,
they
Most
they do.
honestly, they do, and
don't.
they have for years.
Oh yes, they have. And that one thing actually, because when Kyle was little and when the election was going on and Hillary Clinton was going running for it and everything else, and he's like, the I guess the teacher was like talking about it, like, do they understand what that means and how this whatever? And he's like, yep, I do know. And he's like, what do you know? And he's like, yeah, I'm voting for Hillary to be a president. He was 6 years old.
Here's the funny part. Every time somebody literally asks me who I vote for, you know how on the candidacies there's always the other where
Yeah.
you can write in a name. I'll write in my favorite YouTuber that year.
Yep, definitely.
So
That's what I'm saying. Like,
here's my thinking: if we all went to the election and voted in lunatic dad,
oh my God. That would be so.
he would get almost enough candidacies to be
True.
like president of the United States.
Yeah.
And
No,
they're
but that's what I'm saying.
like,
Like,
what is that?
and when I was actually listening to, like one of these, I'm not sure exactly, it was 2, 3 years ago, whatever, that they had someone that they said that they had it in the White House and a thing that they were trying to push him through to be one of the members or something. And he just got out of the college. that he was the youngest college student that he was ready to be, nominated there. But
Wow.
then when they actually did look into his background, his reading level was on a fifth grade level.
Mm,
So how are you going to put somebody to run a country to help you to do this when you didn't teach him how to read?
right.
How is he going to understand? How is he going to comprehend?
Right.
So it's just
I,
so stressful like that when they say that, oh yeah, oh the teacher, this teacher, that bullshit. My ass teachers, they don't do shit.
well, that's like Roy. He don't read. We'll put it that way. Like word comprehension is not his strongest point.
Right, which is that's what I'm saying. So if they would put enough effort to actually pay attention on the children, like group of children, I'm sure that they would be able to separate it at least in four groups.
But
The
get this,
weakest, the
he
medium, the
ha-
strongest.
Roy has photographic memory but
Right.
cannot read.
Which is
Why? Because he's dyslexic, so he always remembers those words
exactly.
backwards.
Uh-huh. And that's what I'm saying. Like, but they don't pay attention. You know how many people are actually being mistreated and misunderstood because of that?
A
And
lot
then it
of them.
affects them in adulthood because then they cannot get a job because they don't have a paper behind them. They cannot get a job because somebody's going to make fun of them because, oh, you think different than I do. That is sad.
Now,
Roy. Um, here's my thinking. I don't think we should base our jobs off of a piece of paper.
Right. I
I
agree with that.
think we
That should
should
not.
base our jobs off of skills.
hmm
The only thing that piece of paper states is I'm a pushover. I will do whatever you state. I did not bend the rules.
Mhm.
And if you tell me to go do something, I'm going to do it like a happy little puppy dog.
Yeah. But what can you do? Like I said, sometimes things have to be different and you have to take it what it is because if you're gonna try to speak up, then they're gonna attack you. And if you don't say nothing, then you're gonna be used. And it's like that's how it goes.
Exactly.
Now, Mom, how long was your school days over there? Did you have to go for like 8 hours, or was it
Eight
longer,
hours.
or
8 hours, 6 days a week.
Oh,
6 days?
6 days a week?
Yep.
Don't tell my son that. He'll ask if we can move to Poland.
Yeah, cool.
Well, I'm not sure exactly if they do have still Saturday school now, but I went 6 days to work to school.
Okay, and how many hours a day?
Eight.
8. Okay,
Uh,
see, we're the same hours, just not as long.
yeah.
Yeah. Um, like, what were your breaks like? Did you get time off from school, or did you have to go
Uh,
all around?
we only had 3 days for Christmas, and then we had 2 weeks actually that it called winter break, which was 2 weeks, but it was in February. It was not around the holidays. It was nothing. It's just in the middle of February. It was 2 weeks. That was winter break, they called it. And then in the summertime, we go to school all the way to June 29th, and then we start school September 1st.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, it's just kind of like the northern schools where they start in September and they
Yeah.
get out in um, June. But
Yeah.
I notice a lot of the or the further down south you go, the earlier they start and the earlier they get out.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I call it spoiled
Definitely.
because we had to start back in like it was like I think it was like around July 29th or so, and then we got out June 7th because that was my birthday. I always thought that was the greatest thing. It was my birthday, you know. But going so early is a pain in the ass. I
Yeah. But
No. Here's the thing. They just brought you to school, dropped you off on the curb, and said there was school. They had somebody. They had somebody there to like make sure you did your stuff, but like they just there was nobody else there besides you.
Now, like I know everybody has that favorite teacher, right? I
Mhm.
was lucky to have two, because I had one at one school and then I had another one at the other school. So yeah, I had two of them. But did you ever have a favorite teacher in Poland?
Yeah, I did actually have a favorite teacher, but we only had two teachers, three,
Ah,
because one was for gym. We only had three teachers on a whole school.
wow.
And we didn't change the class. We stayed in a classroom. The teacher come to teach another subject, which
Okay,
is that's another thing that it pisses me off in here that they have in our village right now. We have freaking ass almost 10 schools and paying taxes on the bullshit that overcrowded. Okay, you fat ass, get your ass walking between those classes instead of putting these kids, 100 kids going on a hallway.
right.
Right. I mean, honestly, that is the best. That would be that is an awesome idea. Instead of having all these kids running around in the hallways,
Right.
causing trouble, have the teachers with.
Which is they still getting a break, like at least at 5 minutes they get in a break between class because the teacher has to come to that class.
Yeah.
Right.
So they, it's not like they, oh my gosh, there's one already standing at the door, another one walks out. No. So I cannot stand it when they bitch shit about like that stupidity and everything else. I hate it.
Now, like when over in Poland, like how big was the classes? And I mean, did
Well,
they have like first, second, and third all bunched into one room, and you know?
no, we had only like my class, which was my grade, like my age, that we had actually 17 kids. That was my biggest class.
Oh,
Well, because we were a small village at that time.
right.
Right.
So we had, so then we were all sitting in one classroom, and then there was another one and another one. So that's how everybody was, and the teachers were switching, you know,
Yeah,
not the kids that walk around.
which saves a lot of commotion, you know.
Hmm.
Kid, like Tanya said, the kids aren't causing trouble and whatever, you know. Because
Yeah.
here, smoking in the boys' room or setting off cherry
Vaping in
bomb.
the boys' room and
Which is
having him be
yeah. Even though when they saying, oh, because you're talking about that, oh, because it was little school, little this, little that. No bullshit. They also have the same process in colleges and universities that there is hundreds of people in there. They stay in the classroom and the professor comes into the classroom, not
Wow.
the people walking through.
Huh.
So
That,
that's why, like I said, I cannot stand when people trying to find excuses that they don't want to do their job.
right. Tanya, who is your favorite teacher? Did you ever have a favorite teacher or not?
I did, but it wasn't my teacher.
What, Jordan's or Shani's?
My grandma. She was
Oh,
a math teacher. She taught English, math, geometry, algebra, algebra 1, 2, pre algebra, algebra 1, and algebra 2. And she taught trigonometry.
Well, that was so nice.
And she was my favorite teacher because I would call her up. I'd be stumped on this damn math problem for a good hour, just cussing and swearing. I'd call her up and I'd be like, I have a question. It involves math. And she'd be like, okay. I'd explain her the problem. And she goes, over the phone, I'm explaining this problem to her. And she goes, okay, let's write it down. And I'd write it down. And she goes, now you see how this and this are the same? Yeah. Take them out, away. So then I'd write the problem and I'd minus it on each side. And she goes, now we're going to add. And I'd add each on each side. Now we're going to multiply. And I multiply on each side. And she goes, is there any divide in there? No. Okay. Now what's your answer? X equals whatever. And she goes, Now, how hard was that, Tanya? I said, you know what, Grandma? Unless you're going to sit on the phone with me and do the rest of this math, my dyslexic brain ain't going to get this math. And she goes, all right, let's get this going. How many more problems you got? I go, 32. She goes, all right, let's get going. And we do all 32 while I'm sitting on the phone with her.
See, my grandma was different. I went to my grandma and I'm like, Grandma, how do you do this problem? Well, she could give me the answer, but she could never tell me how to write it down. So I'd write down the answer, and when I went to school, they're like, well, you didn't show any of your work, so guess what? You failed.
Well, see, that's where my grandma being a teacher came in handy because you had to show your work.
Right. Well, the answers were right, but there was no work, so
When they told me that Jordan was going to be in algebra this year, I said, yeah, you know what? Jordan can be in algebra this year, but I'm a little bit upset. I ain't got his algebra teacher. They go, what do you mean? I go, she passed away last year. Who else is going to help him with her homework? Help him with his homework?
Right.
They're like, who are you talking about? I go, you know, the generational math teacher in our family, my grandma. She always helped every generation with her math. Grandma, we're stuck on this problem.
There.
It will be funny because she hated tattoos. She hated tattoos. And when I get the money up, I'm going to get the biggest school book with an algebra problem for her that equals her birthday on my back.
Oh, really? Wow. Well,
I swear I'm going to feel that hand just whap the back of my head.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, and you're going to have coming over the spirit box. Why did you do that?
Oh, I ain't going to have to. I'm going to listen to my mom. Will you get that removed so your grandma shuts up? My mom can hear him and she can see him. I'll be like, no. Because it's my body and I want to remember my grandma and there's so many different things that I could do for my grandma.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I'm not sure exactly how we're gonna end this thing because it's already 12:20.
Gross.
Well, we would have started on time, but the boys were talking, so
I
I
know.
blame it on the boys.
I know. That's what I told them too. I said, "This is crap."
Go beat up Dad and say, "Be on time."
Exactly. Yes.
Mom, you got to throw a pillow at Dad.
She's gonna throw more than a pillow. She's gonna come across with the right eye. You're gonna see
Okay.
Dad with a black eye.
Here's the thing: we can't end this stream until it's ended right.
Okay. Mom, you got to say your final words. Tanya, you got to say yours. And I got to say mine.
Okay. So which one's gonna start?
You.
The beautiful one goes first.
You're the mom. Moms always speak first. Have you never learned this? Mom has.
No, I'm always the last one who speaks.
Well, we're giving you the first chance to speak.
Okay, well, I wanted to thank everybody for listening, what we had to say, and I thank you ladies always trying to bring me up here. And it's really nice time to talk about things. Thank you so much and have a wonderful Sunday.
Okay, Tanya.
Love y'all. Bye.
Thanks for coming in, guys. I really appreciate you. Mom, it was great. Tanya, it was great. But you know what? I gotta go watch football.
That's it.
Well, I do have something to say.
Well, then say it. Because
Hurry up and say it.
Later on today, I will be doing another live stream.
Another 12 hours?
No, but it's over something that was told to me from yesterday's 7-hour stream.
Oh shit.
And
Okay.
it was how somebody felt during that stream.
Hmm.
So I will leave that for later on today. I don't care if people are watching football or not, but I am going to talk about this.
Well, you can. I don't have to be in here.
So
Okay.
thank you, Mom, for coming up as always.
Hey, Mom, you want
Well,
to do
thank
a
you for
weekend?
having me.
You want
You got one of those damn
you
passes.
want to do
on-
a weekend, a weekday show where we can do like a 2 hour discussion of all different sorts of topics?
Well, I'm not sure exactly how to start this thing, so I don't know.
We'll we'll figure out how to show you.
Okay.
When I get up there, I'll teach you how to use it.
Yay!
Okay.
I don't get there first.
All right.
But also, I can also do a little tutorial over my phone on how to set it up, how to get into it, and all that as well.
Yeah, because we know Dad won't do it.
But
Okay.
like I
Well,
was saying,
just let me know if ever you guys, wanted to, but as long as I'm not doing anything, then I don't mind.
Okay.
you are one of these special people, Mom.
We all love listening to you talk.
You
Yeah.
get a pass up here whenever you want. I don't care who's up here or not. You can come up and raise hell all you want with them.
Okay.
A matter of fact, we will bump people just so that way you can come up.
Yes.
Yeah. Like,
Oh no, don't do that. That's not nice.
Well,
Right.
fine.
But the
Go
thing
eat,
is,
take a pee, do
you
something.
get
go.
the whole pass like your husband does.
Okay, well, I appreciate that. Thank you
But
so much.
you got to realize if it wasn't for you guys or lunatic dad, like I said yesterday, I would not be where I'm at right now.
I'm gonna be where I'm at.
Oh, I appreciate that.
But with that said, guys, I am going to end the stream for the Lady Outlaws. Thank you guys
Okay.
for coming in and enjoying watching the stream. I know I had it running on 3 different things as it was my phone, her phone, and the damn TV. But hey,
Okay.
It
more
worked.
power to you guys. Yes.
Love y'all. Have a great
Well, have a
night.
great Sunday. Thank you.
Love and light. Bye.
Bye.